Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. That's right. This is a new week. We just got done racing at Tulsa Saturday night. Strange thing happened Saturday night. In the burnout box, I glanced down and see my oil pressure fluctuate. In fact, I thought it went down to zero and came right back up. Never seen that before. I don't know if it's a sensor problem or I truly do have a problem with the car. I really don't know. We've been getting some, and the high end of the, or at the end of the shutdown area, especially up in Mocan, if I hit the brakes too hard, the oil pressure does drop, but it comes right back up real quick. That's been doing that for quite some time, but what kind of scared me the most was in Tulsa when I was doing the burnout, and maybe I just don't pay attention enough, but I pretty sure I look at my gauges most of the time. The oil pressure it went down real quick and jumped right back up. So hopefully we don't have a problem with it, but what we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to go ahead and get the car out of the trailer. We're going to go ahead and take the K-member off, and since I have a motor plate in this car, we can just drop the motor or the K-member down. We're going to drop the oil pan down. I will make sure that the pump is a-okay. On these LS motors, it's a front-driven oil pump. So the tube actually comes up and connects to the pump. It's held in with 2 bolts. Then there's a little, not a clamp, but a piece of metal goes around. It's a oil pump support tube or something like that. Anyway, normally they only have 1 bolt holding this thing on, but I got 2 bolts plus this little piece of metal that kind of keeps everything from falling down and stuff, just for this reason. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and pull the oil, drain the oil, pull the pan. We're gonna take a quick look and see if those bolts are in or not. Just give a good once check over. We're gonna check the oil before we pull it, just to make sure we got the right amount of oil in it. But sitting in the burnout, there should be plenty of oil sitting there in that pickup tube any given time. So anyway, so we're going to check all that, make sure all that looks good. So anyway, what you're going to see in this video is us pulling it, checking it, make sure everything's good to go for this upcoming race. So anyway, with that, let's go ahead and get started and get this car out of here. Hey guys, guess what? We're going to check to see if there's any issues with oil pressure on this. What we're planning on doing, we're going to plan on removing the K-member so we can get to the oil pan. So we can take a look at the oil pump tube, make sure that's still connected and all that stuff. So in order to do all that, we're going to have to remove the K-member. The motor will stay in put because we got our motor plate here. So the motor will stay in put, just remove the K-member, then we can get underneath it, take the pan off and take a look at that. First, have to remove some bolts here on the top, get the K-member ready to be pulled out. Remove the wheels, we'll jack the thing up and work underneath it. So anyway, this is to take maybe 30 minutes, 40 tops to do this. So it goes pretty quick. So anyway, once I get up in the air, I'll show you what else we have to do in the bottom. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. That's good. So I can get those bolts. Okay. Only thing we got to do next is take the 6 bolts off of the K-member, and this whole thing will drop right down. We're going to set it right here on the bench, and then we can start working on underneath. Here we go. And just like that, the K-member is out. You can see the motor still up in there. Okay, this took maybe 30 minutes at its best just to get down to this stage here. So all we have to do next is get the diaper pulled back so we can get the pan off and all that good stuff. Then once we get expose that, then expose the pan, remove the pan bolts, then we can, well, first we better drain the oil. Then we'll pull the pan down. Okay, you're gonna pull the oil. You're gonna see it, what it looks like. Have not seen it yet, other than it looks clean on the dipstick. Should be clean down here. Yep, clean as a button. You can see that. There we go. You can almost see right. Oops. So yeah, coming out clean. I get fresh oil change for the rest of the season, so not bad being a methanol car and the oil come out that clean. Oil pan, bottom of motor. So for people who don't know about Ellis motors, it's a crank driven pump, and what we put on this one, they call it a girdle, but basically there's 2 bolts actually holding this on, and I can see 2 bolts sitting here, so at least I know these 2 bolts are on. Okay, I have had one of these backed off on me. We'll check them for tightness just to make sure they're still okay. Then what make this one a little bit unique is this pickup tube is actually back toward the back of the motor. Typical Ellis motors, they come here about the middle, but you can see some welding going on here. We actually lengthened this and stuck it to the back of the motor. Then we did some modifications in the pan itself. Got a towel. And what we did to the pan, this is where the pickup tube would have been. We moved it back here, so we cut out where that pickup tube's gone in. Then we welded some other steel in here to keep hope there's no water in there, but to keep oil from coming back up, so on a hard braking the oil wants to go this way. So we put baffles here, and I think we might have some baffles on the back side, but I don't think we do. I think all we did is put this in to keep oil from coming out of this hole and going to the front during hard braking. Try and keep as much oil back here as we can. So all that looks good, everything's good in place. We'll clean all this up, wash it out, make sure that looks good. Ouch. Oh God, low hanging stuff. But we'll check everything out to make sure everything looks good. And I don't know, might even pull a rod cap just to see how the bearing looks, just for argument's sakes. But everything I can tell, the welds still look good. I don't see anything broke where it can be picking up air or cavitation. The screen itself looks good. I don't see any debris in there where it could cause oil starvation. So everything I can tell from my point of view, everything looks good. So other than that, from my point of view, everything looks good. I'm not too sure why it did what it did. It could be a sensor malfunction. Could be a number of things, but we just want to pull it just to make sure it was not this pickup tube at all. But what I can tell, it looks good, it's in place, that's what we want. So I'm kind of leaning now toward the sensor. And what we see here is my dipstick tube. We keep, I don't know if you can see this or not, but we keep the oil right there at that mark, and that mark is pretty much in line with the bottom of the not flex plate, but was that baffle? Yeah. So it's pretty much much in line with that. So that's where we normally keep the oil at. So this is the oil pressure sensor. So, and look at this, it's moving around quite a bit. It hasn't leaked, which I'm really shocked. So I'm gonna have to do something about this. Yeah, that shouldn't do that. This might be oil temp, and oil pressure might be up on top. So, in fact, I know this is oil temp. The pressure has a big sending unit. It sits on top. So this is definitely oil temp. So anyway, I'm gonna have to do something about this anyway. That shouldn't be like that. Anyway, so, oh well, something else to work on. This is actually the I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's actually the bottom of the rod bearing. That looks pretty good. Got little marks in it, but it still looks really, really good. Okay, I'm done for today. Put about an hour or two, a couple hours work up here, just checking things out and all that stuff. But today's another day. Got plenty of time before we race that's coming up this weekend. So anyway, let's go ahead and call it a day, and we'll continue on this tomorrow. So it is hot out there. Luckily we had the AC running in here. It does make it a little bit more comfortable, but still it is very, very hot outside. So anyway, with that, until tomorrow. Okay, the next thing I have to do is get the pan in the car. I'm under pressure, get it done as quick as I can. In here is a lot cooler and stuff. So as you can tell, it is really, really cool in here and stuff. But anyway, let's go out there and get the pan put on and get some oil in this sucker, get the K member in, all that stuff. So anyway, here we go. Okay, ready to get the pan up here to here. I'm in a hurry to get this thing done, so let's go ahead and do this very quickly. So make sure I didn't forget anything. So pan, motor, here we go. Okay, it's all buttoned up. Just need to go ahead and put the remainder bolts in. Have to get a new oil filter and get some oil so we can get oil on it. So go ahead and button this up real quick and get the cross member back on. Well, first I have to get the diaper on, but ready to go. Hope I didn't forget anything. We'll find out. Okay, it's all bolted up. This is just a pan heater. During the cold season, we'll plug that in. Other than that, just need to get an oil filter for it, add some oil, then this thing will be ready to go. So yeah, like I said, I was rushed to get this all back together. Got a big race coming up, so I need to get this together as soon as I can. So anyway, next, get the oil filter on, plug one more sensor in. We should be good to go. So here we go. Okay, we got everything buttoned up underneath here. Now it's time to get the K member rolled over here and installed. So here we go. Okay, the K member back in, 15-20 minutes if that, to get that put in. So anyway, a little bit more cleanup, get the wheels put on and button things up on top, and we are done getting this job done. So okay, you know, I was talking about the oil pressure. We did all this work on the bottom, took the pan off, checked the dips, the oil pickup tube, all that stuff, stuck everything back together, and dawned on me that maybe I should check the wire up here. In the back is where our oil pressure sender unit, we use an electronic one. This cable, I don't know if you can see that or not. There we go. This guy was just barely making a connection there. I just barely touched it, it fell right out. So sometimes start with the simple stuff first. But the good thing is we did pull the bottom, checked a few things down there to make sure everything looks really good and stuff like that. So we had extra time this week, so why not, right? But we'll get that wire fixed and that should solve our oil pressure problems. So let's get that fixed. It's all connected about my finger, and it is soldered this time, so that wire is not going to come out. So that repair is fixed. Got a few more things I have to button up here. Still have to add oil and oil filter. Then once we get all that added, we can start it up, make sure we got good oil pressure, right? So hopefully we got everything back installed correctly. We'll find out when we start it. So anyway, oil filters come next. It might be tomorrow. Forgot to pick some up on the way home from work, but no problem. We'll get it in here the next day or so, fire it up and see what happens. Fingers crossed. So till that day. Okay, we got fresh oil, new oil filter in it, all that stuff. Got our fans turned on in the back because we need to roll this thing out with the methanol. It's hard on the eyes. We're going to roll it outside there by pops. We're going to start it up and hope we got oil pressure and all that good stuff. So let's go. Okay, here we go. We're going to start it up. Get some fuel going. Ignition. Start. No oil pressure. What? There's no oil pressure. Oh, crap. There's no... Oh. I don't know what I did. Get out of here. I don't think I forgot anything. Let me check, see if I got the sensor plugged in. Oh, gosh. No, it's plugged in. Right there, you can see it. What do you think I forgot?
I don't know. What'd you forget?
I have no idea. Wait a minute. What's on my bench? Oh. You thought I left it off, didn't you? It's all back together. Okay guys, that was a little bit of humor in this video. Sorry, just need to make a humor video every once in a while. Now, hopefully I'm not that stupid to actually leave the pickup tube out. You might have caught on somewhere part of the video. I was not going to leave it out anyway. But anyway, everything checked out on the motor. I'm really happy with it. Got fresh new oil in it. Sensor, yeah, what can you say? It goes, but bad connection, and all we had to do is resolder it. Boom, it's done. So anyway, that was the problem with the oil pressure fluctuating and stuff like that. But anyway, motor looks good, so we're good for the rest of the year. Got some fresh oil in it, so I think we're good. We did a little bit of maintenance on the car, made it look a little bit nicer, as well as fixed a few things that we had some issues with. Water pump motor, vacuum pump, a canister, stuff like that. Little things like that, just wear items that sometimes you have to do maintenance on. So anyway, for me and Pops, we are out of here until the next video. If you like what you see, please hit subscribe and hit that little bell dinger bopper, whatever. It tells you got a new video out. And with that, see you next time.